Ryan. Yes! According to the University of Alabama's athletic department, the football team has won 13 national championships. Now, according to anyone outside the state of Alabama, and even right down the street at Auburn, that number's closer to 10 or 11. Why is this even up for debate? Why is there not a clear-cut way? Why is there no clear-cut number of championships in college football like there's the NFL? Like the average NFL fan can tell you the Raiders have won 3 Super Bowls, the Chargers have won 0. That's because college football does not have a clear-cut way to decide its national champion. As a college football fan, it's extremely disappointing that there is no real national championship to look forward to at the beginning of every season. The problem we have here is that the BCS, the current system, is an overly complicated mess with an overcomplicated solution to a problem that has a simple answer. As you can see here, this is complicated. You guys have seen this before. It's a mess, and here's the alternative: simple, clean, a mess. Today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the BCS and why it's so flawed. I'm going to be giving you why it's there, some of the arguments and variables that keep it in place, and why a playoff is superior and what we can do as fans to keep it to get a playoff put in. Now, the BCS to decide its national championship, uses a series of polls and computers to rank teams from number 1 to 25. At the end of the regular season, the top 2 ranked teams, number 1 and 2, play each other in the title game. It's called the BCS Championship. And before that was around, they used just polls, and teams were subject to human opinion to their hopes of a national championship. Now, this opened up doors for disputes like Alabama, 13 versus 10. Now, the BCS states that its main goal is to fairly and accurately determine a national championship. Whereas Joe Barton, a writer for the U.S. Digital News, states that the BCS, that goal is a deception. Their real goal is to maximize revenue while limiting fair competition, which makes it by definition a cartel, not a championship service. He proves this by, in the first 11 years of its inception, from 1998 to 2009, only 11 teams out of 120 were able to play for the national championship. Corruption is rampant in the BCS. A majority of the power is in the hands of very few conference commissioners and athletic directors of major universities. Austin Murphy, in one of his articles, tells the story of John Junker, the president and CEO of the Fiesta Bowl. The Fiesta Bowl is a major bowl in the BCS, and he was using the profits from this bowl to pay off favorable employees, politicians, and himself. And this is a supposedly non-taxable charitable organization. Now, why do we have this system? Why do we have this corrupt system? Why is it there? There are several arguments that keep it in place. Most of them are made by Bill Hancock, the CEO, the director of the BCS. A couple of the main arguments used are that the bowl experience you shouldn't take away the bowl experience. It's a unique experience that every student athlete should have a chance to experience. The student athletes themselves are going to be overburdened with an addition of a few games for a playoff. And college football has the most important regular season in all of sports. Alright, so in order to counter these arguments, the NCAA really needs to take control and implement a playoff. They control everything else about the sport. They need to take control and implement a playoff. In fact, major college football is the only sport that the NCAA does not officially recognize a championship. Now, there's some counter arguments to the arguments that keep it in place. Paola Bolton, a writer of the USA Today, explains that a solution to counter the bowl experience is that you can use the bowls as venues for the playoff games themselves. So the players keep the experience of the bowl games. That's just one of the many ways you can implement a playoff without having to get rid of the bowls. I know junior college keeps bowls and playoff at the same time. The student athlete argument is probably the poorest argument of them all. I mean, during the time when the playoffs would be going on, most student athletes are on break in between semesters. And even if they aren't, the rules wouldn't change magically from the regular season as far as time restriction and practice goes to the playoffs. And probably the biggest factor of them all is that only major college football doesn't use a playoff. All the smaller divisions use a playoff to decide the champions. So basically they're trying to tell us that Harvard students who are in a playoff have a more difficult course load than the ones at LSU. I don't buy it. And as far as the importance of the regular season goes, that's only true for the teams that are in the BCS conference. Tell that to Utah, Boise State, and TCU that the regular season was important when they finished undefeated and were not given a chance to play for the title. So what can we do to get this changed? As fans of the game, what can we do? Basically, just keep voicing your displeasure about the current system. Get the idiots at ESPN talking about it. They're constantly babbling, and they have a lot of power actually when they're just running their mouths about certain issues. But the biggest thing we can do is to hit them where it hurts the most. That's their wallets, and that's basically to stop watching the BCS bowl games when they're televised. It's a difficult thing to do, and I probably myself won't be able to do it, but that's what you got to do to get it done. And for those that aren't fans and don't watch the games anyway, keep up the good work. So today I told you a little bit about the BCS, why it's a flawed system, what keeps it in place, what the viable solution is, and how we can get it put in place. Basically, college football is one of the greatest sports on the planet. It rakes in over $2 billion a year. It deserves a playoff. It deserves a championship to be decided on the field, not by people who aren't on the field and by computers. Thank you.